So good evening, everyone. It's nice we are here. I welcome you to day 3 of the free design basic class. And we've gone a long way actually. Day 1, day 2, and now it's day 3. I know when you will listening to this, I've actually known a lot about graphic design. And then I want to just encourage you to make sure that you make it interactive. I would do my little on my hand, just listen to it interactively because they are not persons that I can interact with. So, or maybe we should just find a way to just make it interactive, even though it's a video. Okay, so this was recorded even on the day that we did this, and folks were not so available, but at least we can just go on. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining. This is the Crealyst. Welcome to day 3. So where we are going to talk about the principles of design. And here is it before you. Immediately, as we all know, as I've said and again, that these are the principles, these are the standards, and ways you put your elements together just to achieve that communication. So now, without further ado, just go straight into it. So the first of it is balance. So what is balance? Is when a particular side of your image, of the Canva area that you use is balanced with the second part, right? So when you divide your image to two, you should be able to balance the first side even with the second side, right? So that's that about balance majorly. And then there are two ways you can actually balance. Majorly, we call the first side visual width, because at the first side there are elements. So the reason why I'm explaining this is so that you can really understand it in depth. So there are elements, you have the line, you can have any of your elements there. Could be a topography, could be an image, could be an object majorly, it can be even a shape. So it should be balanced with the other side, right? All the elements in the other side, right? So all the elements here has to be balanced with all the elements at this side, right? So that's how it should be. So we have symmetrically balanced. That's when equal width, the weights here are equal to the weight at the other side here. Now, so that's equal width on both as central axis actually. So, and then we have the asymmetrical balance. You can see that this space is balanced, but it's asymmetrical. So the weight here, or the rectangle we have here, the text here, is balanced with this particular place. So you can see this line and this place, trying to do something in this aspect, not to leave it empty. So you can see that this particular visual is actually balanced even on its own, right? So though it's asymmetrically balanced, because this width here is not equal to this place. You cannot mirror it and then you will see the same thing here. So that's how it works. You cannot mirror this side and you will see the same thing here. Neither can you mirror this side and then see the same thing here. So that's it about balance majorly. So what balance majorly creates a sense of stability in a design. So in your design, it shows that your design is stable. And then the eyes of your viewers will not be pointing to one place. So that's why we call it visual width. So the width on this place must balance with the width of this place. So you can just picture that it's a knife edge, and so the kind that we do in physics, right? So physics that time really did a lot. So those practical physics, I'm talking to the science students majorly. Okay, so balancing one side with another. So there's a knife edge, this one triangular knife edge, and then a ruler is placed on it. Then one side has to be balanced with another. Okay, so that's that about balance. So let's check the images. Let's get to understand it. Okay, so you can see that this particular side is almost mirrorable to this particular side. So it's just for you to um achieve balance majorly. The person decided not to put this same size and the same place here. You could have actually just mirrored this one and just make it here, but no, actually it's because it's designed, but it is symmetrically balanced majorly. So we have equal elements on both sides, right? And decided not to put maybe some particular ones here, just so because for you not to just see it like just too symmetrical, that kind that we just must have the same at the second place. No, it's because he really understands a lot about design, so he is able to understand, okay, symmetrically balanced and non-symmetrically balanced. It's not compulsory to actually compulsorily put the same thing at the next place, except if you are trying to talk about the concept. But this is it, and then it's symmetrically balanced majorly. You can see the same one here, you can see all of the same one here, you can see design nerd and everything like that. So you can see that it's symmetrically balanced. So for this, on the other hand, it's not symmetrically balanced. You can see the rectangle here, and then it's smaller here, and then there's a little one here. The weight here is actually, should I say, is more dense or lighter, and this one is scattered majorly. So you can see that it's almost symmetrically, but you cannot call it symmetrically again, because there are some parts that are arranged differently than this place. So I hope we get. So it's when the sides here is not. In fact, some folks they can say this one is symmetrically balanced because you can actually divide it, and then you almost want to say this side is the same with this side, right? But there are some things I can actually differentiate from them, so that's why I'm showing you that it's asymmetrically balanced. Majorly, this is not more of asymmetrically balanced. Okay, let me just use magnitude. So the magnitude of symmetry is more even than the asymmetrical, but it's still balanced majorly. It's still balanced. So to the next, so that's about symmetrically and asymmetrically on this particular graphics. So this is, you can see that this one is clearly symmetrically balanced majorly. You can see this side and this side almost the same majorly. So you can see that even when you divide it, you can actually mirror it. So that is that about that. So we have this one. It's not symmetrically balanced, it's asymmetrically balanced because there are some weights that are here that are not replicated here. So that's how we know whether it's symmetrical or not symmetrical. And I think I should even show you from other designs that, let me show you from this particular design and show you that this side and this side cannot be mirrored. So this one is also asymmetrically balanced. So you can see this one is symmetrically balanced. You can see that this one is asymmetrically balanced. Yeah. So excuse me please. So when you divide this one also, you cannot say it's symmetrically balanced because you cannot mirror the same stuff. So they used a particular color for here, used another one for here. There is more weight, more objects. There's a different one here. So majorly for this one also, it is asymmetrically balanced. It's asymmetrically balanced. Even though it's following the same rhythm, it's asymmetrically balanced. Okay, so that is that. Okay. So let's go on to contrast now. Contrast helps elements to stand out. It creates interest and focus. Majorly, contrast can be achieved on several elements majorly, and then you can make sure that one is noticeable than another. So that's how contrast works. So you can see light and dark, thin and thin, thick and thin, big versus small, sheriff versus sans sheriff. You have color versus grayscale majorly. So that's the contrast. So the grayscale is the contrast. When you see a grayscale, when everything is looking like grayscale, it looks like it is it has low contrast. And then when you see colors that stand out, then that's high contrast. So contrast is the overall visual perception about a particular image. So one other thing you have to know about contrast is that it creates interest. In fact, you should really put it in mind, because when one place is actually standing out than another, you would begin to draw yourself to it, and then it will interest you to know what is happening there, and then you would now move from that particular one even to the less contrasted one, or the one with low contrast, right? So you get to like interact with your design when all of these principles are put in place, especially when you work more on this one. So you can achieve contrast with color. Visually, you can achieve contrast with weight. You can see light and dark, thick and thin, that's weight. Light and dark, that's whether brightness or darkness. So you have big versus small. So you can achieve contrast with size. You can achieve contrast with your font when you are using a sans serif font, something like this, and then you put in a serif font. I think the serif font is the font that has all this cap and all those things usually. So we have color versus grayscale. So you can achieve it with color usually. So that's that about contrast majorly. So let's just check it out. So you can see that all of these things are blending in. You can see that this design itself is blending in. Every single thing is blending in. So you can see that this one has low contrast, because assuming they want to do it well, they will make all these ones like really stand out even more than how it's standing out now. So that we can draw attention to it, and maybe we now say we want to look at this place, and look at every other aspect majorly. You can see that it has low contrast, or should I say it's a little bit moderate low, but it's actually low. You cannot see, there's no particular side that you can say is standing out very visibly than the others. So then for this now, we can see that the image of Prophet Joel is actually standing out. So when you see the flyer, you would first draw your attention to this. Then maybe perhaps you want to check his name, check it. Then you now see this is ministry now before you now see every other aspect, right? So that's that about this design. So this design has high contrast majorly. So you can see that there is an highlight, yellow highlight. That yellow actually brings vibe. We have spoken about that before. So and then it makes you like interact with the design well. So that is that about this place. So this has high contrast. You can see the color itself. The color itself has high contrast. But for this one, the color itself has high contrast. So like this is like the mock-up for this place. So this is the one that was designed on the tool. This was the one that was mocked up. So that's that. You can see it's shouting. When you even look at itself, there's no how you will not call attention to this yellow coated stuff. So you would see it also. So this particular flyer, you can see the contrast, the red that is there. So even though other principles are used in this design, you can see the red itself calls you to this place. Then you come down here. What you want to do, in fact, you might not even look at the device itself. You can just go straight. In fact, one thing you will do is that when you see the name of the brand, you go straight to the menu. So that's where this red is highlighted again. Then you go and check it. Okay, what are the things that they are? Then what next you want to check is now how you can locate them. So that you can call them and locate them and all like that. So that is that. Before you even now say, okay, let me even just check how their images look like, right? When there's a way you perceive the design even at first, and then you want to just go for the details that you want, right? Or sometimes you just want to check the images first, but the red itself is already telling you, okay, this is something. You can check it here, majorly. So it seems like your eyes will be fighting between which one you want to go for. Is it your craving or the details that you want to see, right? So because you know for sure that all these images can actually be from any place, you know. In fact, it's already giving the essence of the brand. It's already presenting the brand well. So you can see how it's actually shouting. So the first thing they want to see is the brand name, the menu, the kind of things that they sell, and also the how you can contact them, which is the number which is below, and also the location of the is it canteen or food brand majorly. So when they know all of those things, I think they have all the information for them to get themselves a sweet like one of the products, right? So you can see all of the products. Maybe after you've checked those, that's when you now begin to check the product itself. But majorly you want to get information about the product itself so that you can know how to reach them, and you also enjoy from the product. Okay, so that's that about sorry, that's I just explained that flyer a little bit. So we have emphasis. So emphasis or focus. So this is the principle. This principle I like the most important part of the design, so that the viewer notices it first. So that's emphasis. So it will highlight the most important part. So it's majorly on a particular element. So it's either you use a particular element. You cannot use two elements majorly. It's either you use a font or typography, or you use an image to state the focus. So and then you do that using the brand bold color. You can use a bold color. You can use size. I also call it hierarchy majorly. Even though we are going to talk about hierarchy, let's move on. So bold color. You can use a bold color. You can use a size different. So you can make it very big. It can be the placement. It can be how you placed it. There are ones that actually place their text slantly. So it can be isolation. It can be maybe you isolated it to one particular side. It's going to call for emphasis. It's going to call for people looking at it. So it could be contrast. It could be that, like when I spoke about the fact that it was the contrast was used for it, right? Okay, so that's that about the emphasis. So let's go on to the pictures and check how they actually achieve emphasis in the pictures, right? So we have this Nusa Folabi's birthday design, and you can see this achieving emphasis. You can see that the face itself is the first thing you are going to see, and then maybe before you now come down and see, okay, who is the person. In fact, you might not even really see this one. Then you see Lasisi, you see I think Eleno. I think this is Eleno. So majorly you can see they isolated it, both isolated it and made the size bigger. So you can see how they use the white blur. It could be brush to actually isolate it. They closed up this Eleno. Eleno is supposed to be here. So then it's either they removed the stuff of this one, or they just painted on it, just to make sure that the face really shows. So this is what they wanted us to really see. And then also his name. You can see the hierarchy of his name. So when you see this first, then you see this, then you would probably see this. You see Lasisi, you see Ellen, you just see the Nusha. So this birthday design, the pictures itself, they are their emphasis. So if you see the picture, in fact, you will already know that okay, it's a birthday design. Before you now come down and read birthday design majorly. So the pictures that are all used is the emphasis of this particular project. So I might not even really see what is at the back, because maybe perhaps I don't know him, but at least I think this is happy birthday probably. So that's that about this design. Let's go on to the next one, how they achieve emphasis. You can see how they increase the size of this particular picture. You can see it. This is a pattern, and then just increase the size. So you even, in fact, if you don't see any other thing, you will see this. So you now come back to creativity. Maybe you now go to any of this stuff visually. So you can see this also emphasis. You can see thank you for coming. Maybe that will call your attention first. Then you will see the person. Then you will see every single other aspect of him visually. It could be things that actually did the design. Okay, so we can see our day one flyer. You can see how it was emphasized that it's actually day one. Then your eyes will now be drawn to this particular piece where you read about your skill, right? Okay, so now I think that's all about emphasis for now. Now let's just go on to talk about alignment. So alignment ensures elements line up properly, giving order and neatness. So alignment ensures that elements line up properly, giving order and neatness. So the types of alignments we have the left, we have the right, we have the center, we have the justified. We have grid alignment in layout. Majorly this is used in publication designs when you are designing for book and for magazines. So they will use ruler to draw grid. So they will draw the grid, they would specify all the spaces that should be in between all of the specifications. Maybe two justification per page. So some used to use 3, and all of those things are for those that are really into it. They would divide using ruler to divide it both vertically and then horizontally, and then they now begin to put text inside, making sure that they don't pass what half the line that you drew. But majorly I would have even loved to show you that, because I think I have a little experience in that also. So guides in UI or print design. So in print design there are guides that they use for aligning, because they will print out, and printing you would have to also have a little SX for the computer when it wants to print. I don't know so much about that, but there is always an excess, so that you should not hit into the design when you are printing. So I guess that's the reason for the excess. And in UI UX, they are creating websites, so they would have to use guidelines and all like that. So I think that's majorly in Figma. So it avoids a scattered, messy composition. So that's majorly what alignment does. Let's just check the little alignment that we have. We have center aligned. We have this aligning to one side. So this person actually aligned to one side. Putting image here, aligning to one side. So this is like one of the ways of designing that I began to see even as I continue to design. Majorly would align everything to this side and then find an image to put here. So that's always the layout before we began to explore other new ways. So this aligning to the left. This is aligning to the left also, putting an image here. You can see that it's actually also balanced. So so this is center alignment. Majorly this center alignment. You can see every single thing is aligned to the center. Even this boot stuff, they will be grouped and then also be aligned to the center. So this particular one is aligned to the left, but it's still like an accent to the whole element there. So and it's still aligned. So for this particular one, we have spoken about this before, but this alignment is to the right. You can see that they aligned everything to the right. So this one was middle to the right, and the reason why they did this was because of this one that is here. So they had to find a way to make sure that it's aligned. So they aligned it to the right, and align into this place would actually pour all of the visual weight to this side, because when you align to this place, it will fall to this place and leave a little part here. But when you align to this place, and you can now move it even up to this extent where you can just enjoy your space, and you know the isolation they did for this one can actually stay. So that's that about alignment. So let's go on to proportion or scale. So it's a relationship between elements. So the larger than body text, header is larger than body text. The product photo bigger than the description, can you see? And then human figure and architecture for scale. So majorly that's the same thing that is here. You can see that the body about this man is actually bigger than the body here, and then it's bigger than this one. So we want them to see this. So this is the proportion. So the proportion is like this. We can actually draw a rectangle around it. This, then this, then this. I think you can actually draw a rectangle. So this is for Elenu. This is for Elenu. Can we see this? I don't think it's responding. Anyways, so we can actually draw a rectangle round about this, a rectangle round about this, rectangle round about this. So then a rectangle for the image itself, and then for this. So you can see this. You can see the proportion. This one is actually big. We want them to see this one and also see the ministering now, and him also. So then they can now maybe check this if they want to majorly. So what else? Can you see the proportion here also? We want them to see that it's on Telegram. So then put Telegram. Then you can see that these ones are actually bigger than the message itself. So you can see graphic design. It wants you to know that when you even see it, it's this place that you see first, because it's actually the bigger. Then you also see graphic design. So that's about the proportion. So you can see how graphic design is still small, but this is still smaller than it, so that you can go from here and then get here, right? So that's that. Okay, so pardon me. Okay, so to go on, we have hierarchy now. Let's go on to hierarchy. So hierarchy shows what should be seen first, next, and last. So hierarchy shows what should be seen first, what should be seen next, and what should be seen last. So it is created through the size. You can use size to show your hierarchy. You can use contrast color contrast. You can use position. You can use typography. That's the font. You can use the spacing to show your hierarchy. So I was more or less like saying before that when we spoke about emphasis, that emphasis can also be likened to hierarchy, but folks still add them majorly. So that's it about hierarchy. So then it's used in posters, it's used in websites, it's used in magazines, it's used in presentation majorly. So majorly you would see it so much pronounced in magazines, because they would have to like use a particular edge text to call attention. Then it would actually now set the pace for people wanting to read the body text. So that's that about hierarchy majorly. So you can see it in posters, in websites, when you enter a landing page. The first, there's something you would see as the header text that is introducing you to whatever the band is about, or whatever is on the page. So that's that about hierarchy. I think we have spoken about it. We can still check more images actually. So this is our 3 days free design class actually, and then this is the hierarchy. You can see this so much. This is one of the things that really communicates so much. There's no, even if you make it so small, you still see this particular piece. The 3 days free design class. Then maybe when you want to check this side, you can now see this, the details, the outline, and all. So talking about fundamentals and accessory, that accessory, you can see that is actually bigger than every other part. Than all of this is actually bigger, so that you can know that it's free. So now you can see our day 2 flyer also. You can see how big it is before you now go to other designs where there are commentaries and where you can learn from. So majorly that's the goal of it. That is day 2. Okay, now so it's just like, what else do we need to pass across even as you know that it's day 2? So we know that you would have learned so much into design, so that you can use this one as something you can always hold in your hands, even as you go through the class. So all these are other designs also. This hierarchy, using this one as hierarchy. Welcome to October. So it's October we want you to see. You can see the green color with intent, such that Nigeria is green. Could have put a flag there, but so you can see now here this prophetic Sunday. So you can see prophetic Sunday, even though the ego itself took the lead of introducing us. So prophetic Sunday, that's an AI image majorly. Then they put it at that place where you can see. Then prophetic Sunday, and you can now go down to read the remaining details. So these are church flyers. So if you want to do minimalist church flyers like this, you just make sure that you learn. Though we are getting close to the sweetest part, because you would get to begin to design well if you follow through. So the next principle that we are talking about is movement. That's also visual direction. The movement leads the viewer through the layout in a specified order, and then it's done through arrows, it's done through leading lines, it's done through placement of elements, it's done through gradients, it's done through perspective. We are going to see an example of perspective. I think we have it already, we have seen it before. So, and then it's used in posters, ads, UI, and storytelling designs. So you would see that it could be done through arrows, movement, you trying to use lines. When we spoke about lines, it could be done through leading lines, it could be done through placement of elements. When you place all the elements, it's going to show a visual flow into somewhere. Then you can use gradients also to show the movement, and then perspective. So all of these things really influences our designs. So you can see Pastor Daniel Olawande's design of 100 million souls. So you can see how all of this directed us to look at this list. So even if you are not looking at this at first, the movement of everything actually makes you just look at this place at first. And also they used 100 million souls, they used some highlights, some contrast here to actually call your attention. You can see the fire, you can see the glow, you can see you can see the glow effect, you can see the fire and everything. So it's actually calling your attention. When you even see this beauty, you'd be called to just read through. When you read through, you can now see, okay, what is there, and see that it's actually Peter. So majorly all of these things are very important even as we design. So majorly you can see how all of the flags of the nation, how they are all over the globe that is underneath. Then his picture was placed, then this, it's quite innovative, right? So there is more. Eben Kwame Daniel Kuleyo Ofumije. So that's it. New dawn, new face. All of these ones you might not even really see them. It's when you are trying to read them. Okay, so and it helps. They even help to balance every single thing. So the text here and the text here balances it. Right? So that when you divide it, you would see that the one aspect is balanced with the other. But this is more of asymmetrical. So when you divide it eventually, you will see that this text is moving more to this side. And then there is a dove here, even though there is a dove here. So this Daniel, it's more of asymmetrical. So it's based on you, because the designer himself didn't have whether asymmetrical or symmetrical in mind, but would just conclude that it's asymmetrical. So for this one, you can see perspective coming from his mouth. Thank you for coming. Majorly, it seems like he was the only one thanking us for coming for the convention. That was Evan. That was last year. So that is that about this particular perspective stuff. So movement, showing you movement, and then that same way you use it to write the same other text, that you can also follow it like that. So you can't imagine this one coming out like this and then we are writing a straight text. In fact, it's not going to make sense. So even as it came out, this one also come out. You can see the movement. Okay, so now to this design, you can see the movement in this coming. In fact, you might not even really notice the ones at the top, but you would already just come here, because there's a separation, and if you looked from here, you would get here. And the movements for this one also is just that you are going to begin to look down. Even though this didn't really show hierarchy for the kind of program majorly. So, but we can always see that there is movement here. You can always see there's movement, because moving from the top to the bottom, and it's also aesthetically pleasing. So it's not enough for your design to be more aesthetically pleasing. It must be able to communicate well. Though it's a Togo program, so we cannot say it didn't communicate well if we don't understand the language itself. Okay, so that's that about that. So we are to talk about is unity. Next we have to talk about is unity or harmony. So unity means all parts of the design look like they belong together. Unity means all the part of design look like they belong together, and then it can be achieved through front. But before I even go into how it can be achieved, the unity means that all the elements that you choose in your design helps each other to live. Now, maybe I should refer again to that Elenu. Because that Elenu also really said a lot to us. Because that Elenu, one of the lessons like that Elenu made sure that they cleaned it away so that the isolated image can show. So that was that about the Elenu design that I was talking about. Okay. So now to talk of the visual unity. Okay, so now to talk on unity, which is harmony. So when you hear harmony in music, is majorly all of the different parts singing to make sure that the music is cool and then pleasing to hear, and it's organized majorly. So when you see it, when you hear them say it's harmonizing, that means every single thing is entering, and it's coming out nice, it's coming out beautiful, it's coming out nice. So unity means all parts of a design you can see. So even in design, or unity or harmony is when all the parts look like they belong to each other usually. So when all the parts look like they belong to each other. So then is achieved through consistent fonts. When you use consistent fonts, maybe use like one font all through, and then maybe you were just toggling between using bold and using light. So light weight. So that's you'll be able to create unity. You can check. I think in all the designs I use both light and bold, but you can check the data well. I was able to I highlighted some particular places that were important. Then the explanation, you check the quotes. So the quotes were highlighted and they were bolding, like they had more weight. For the body text, and then the other explanation was in the normal regular width, right? So that's harmony in using consistent fonts majorly. So the next is color palette. When you use a very good color palette, when your color is harmonizing, like we spoke about all of the types of color, we know monochromatic, using one particular color and then maybe changing the tints and the saturation and hue. So that's about color palette. That's about monochromatic. So for analogous, using three different ones, three following colors on the color palette. You use the three ones. So which other one is, we have split complementary, one at the top and one at different sides. So we can just do well to check it again. So you can actually just do well to check it again. So here is it. So the monochromatic, what I was saying, the complementary, the up and down, analogous, three different, split complementary, this one and this one, and then this one, triadic, then the triadic. So you will see that I am trying to carefully explain everything, and if I have to go back, I go back, because I know that you have to understand, right? So that's that about color palette. Then the style. If you're using a retro style, you should go for retro. Use it to create a retro design. Retro design is majorly colorful design. It's more of a vibey design. They are used for all of those parties. They are used for stuff like that. I know more about party. I know more because the party is the one that is usually associated with all those break dance flyers. So that's that. So we can also use spacing to achieve unity. We can the spacing between each element can make everything unified, right? So it's like this like the white space, the negative areas in between all of the elements. So we can also use the theme to achieve harmony, right? So the theme of a particular design, you can use it to achieve harmony, where you can even use it to connect with other parts. So it depends on the expertise of the designer before you can be able to achieve all of this. So it creates cohesion even inside chaos. So you can see all of these things. You can see them all, how everything is coherent. Though I had someone that explained it like this: it's not for them to actually be brothers. It's for them to be cousins. It's not for them to actually be same font. It's for them to actually complement one another. So you can see that Obalende is a little bit smaller, then Suya is bigger, and then you will know that this is actually a food brand because of the curved typeface. Because of the curved typeface. So you can see because of the curved typeface. So weekend nights on Western, as the body text to tell you more about it. So this particular image is also complementing, the kind of color that is there. Also, you can see this soya, little soya, this soya or barbecue, whatever. So majorly, the person also put something like that here. Everything is complementing each other. Even the red here is making is saying contrast, saying contrast. So I can see what is that information that has to come out. These are informations that must be seen. So they decide to use contrast. You can see how everything is entering inside. Then it seems like a drill used a pen to draw something around, something like a pattern at the back that can keep the back busy. Imagine if they didn't draw anything, everything is just going to be like that. There's not going to be like a separation. So it's when they drew something like a pattern on that's when there was a separation. So the reason why I'm talking like this is because I've designed in cases like this where I didn't put anything on there and everything just seemed blank. But when you put the pattern there, it helps you to see a flow. It helps you see a movement underneath. So that everything will not just look like that. So you can see the match. You can see this hierarchy also, but every single thing is helping one another. You can see this particular stuff also. You can see this one also. So you can see, this looks like someone's writing, and then this one also complements it and looks like it. And then you see all of this using lines. These are the lines. Being creative with it, all like that. So Obalende, probably they use this one to signify the city of Lagos. All of these things could be individual elements or a compound element. So then you can see that everything actually goes nice. It's a very nice work or nice masterpiece. You can see how they use the yellow to create a contrast for emphasis. So the contrast is calling your attention because that yellow is different from every other part, and then it's achieving emphasis also. So you can see how everything is just entering themselves and helping one another. But if you have to zoom inside, you will see that every one of them individually is not okay. When you check it, every one of them, you can see that this one is not, it's not like it would actually work with it, but because everything was doing well. You can also see a texture, something like a mesh texture that is on everything. So you can just see that they made scrabbles majorly, and these scrabbles are because when fire burns, there's some stuff that comes out. Can also make it interesting. So all these lines made it interesting. These ones made it interesting. Even the stuff that was put under the pattern leaves, the pen stuff that was put on that was also they also made it interesting. So now this is another design that we are looking at concerning unity. You can see how everything is unified. There is a use of this is usually a font that is used for retro designs. So you can see is the image of the person, and then all this small text makes you know that there's so much more about this. All this kind of having small text and something as big as this. Majorly, the idea was taken from magazines because magazines really work with that. But the fact that they will have a bigger size and then the body text are going to be even as small as this. Probably the person just put lorem ipsum as a dummy text, or it could also be something to write about the person visually, but it's just too small for even for your eyes to see. This can be done in case of maybe you are doing a poster that maybe when it becomes big, it's going to be very visual and very visible. I mean, so this is strong, stay strong. And then you see, all of these things are majorly. This is actually a poster. Majorly, it would also be something like a signage. So it's a poster that maybe if this was a design agency and then there's a poster like this, there's no how you would see it every day and you will not be inspired majorly. So it's actually looking like a retro design. You can see they use this stroke majorly in a retro design. I guess it's actually more of like a masterpiece. You can see how they use all these things to create either clouds, and you can see how everything is just aligning. See the scribble, see this writing, and all. So that's that about Unity. Majorly everything works together to actually make a design piece. So the next one, reading. Reading is different from repetition, because reading is actually repetition, repeating a particular stuff in a particular pattern. It's in line with repetition and then pattern, following a particular pattern, doing it like this time, doing it like this another time. So it guides the viewer's eye to the design. So that's reading. It can be regular, it can be flowing, that's curves, waves. So you can use curves and waves to achieve it. You can, like it was done here. So, and then like it was done here also, you can see everything. Let's go on. So then it's the another one is progressive. That's increasing sizes. Perhaps one is increasing, one is increasing. Usually, okay. So I think for this one, I planned I was going to use this one, but it didn't say so much about reading. But you can see him facing this place at this point. Facing the space at this point, right? So assuming there was going to be another one, it's going to be them facing at this place. That's reading. We're trying to create patterns that repeat themselves, right? So that's reading. And it can also be random. Reading can also be random. So it adds movement and continuity. Can you see? So if there's no continuity, it's not yet reading. So even though there is movement, continuity must be there. That's why I said that if there was going to be another picture that was going to be at the top, it's going to be facing this place. So that's what reading seeks to achieve. So the little ones I was able to get are these ones. So they are repeating the same thing, but they are changing the side, right? This one side, then this another side, right? And you see that it actually came out nice. So that's reading for you. So they repeated it because they are following another order. You can see this one. So now for this one also, reading, do this one, then this one, change it to the other side. And you can see how this one is. Okay, so that's that about design, majorly the principles of design. So without much ado, let us go straight into another session that I just want to take us through. Okay, so majorly this is the end of the training, actually, of the free training, but there is still more to learn about design. And I tell you, design is very interesting. So in fact, I'm very happy to actually even talk about design, because design is one of the things that I really love. If you see my WhatsApp profile, you would see design enthusiast. That's actually who I am. So I would just like to actually give an opportunity to those that would love to learn with me, actually. And there's actually a lot to learn in design. And I tell you that the journey would start and would not only help ourselves to get better in design, would also build a community that thrives, where you can also always take your work to. In fact, it will not be only me. When you and people, when we all learn together, you would see that it would be easier to actually grow, because apart from we learning together, this one will see this one online, something that is very useful, we send it in, and stuff like that. It's going to be more of like a community, and you will not be left out. When it's time to get jobs, you would have people you can always reach out to, and stuff like that. Even if it's up to applying for jobs, even if it's up to updating yourself in the current trends in graphic design, you would actually have that community to do so with. And I'm calling serious-minded persons that would actually love to learn with me. For my master class, I'll be coming up by November, and I think this model of recording classes would actually work. Thank God I actually had to. Thank God you showed your true color during the live classes, so that I can know that the live classes would not work. Because I was thinking, if people can actually just sit down and then watch, it'd be better than them have to go back to it. Because if it was someone like me, I'll not go back to it, because I'm very busy majorly. So yeah, and then I cannot just use my own to like determine another person's own. So that's why I just give it a try. Okay, so let's record class and see how it goes majorly. So that is that. So one thing I just want you to know about your design journey is that, in fact, for me, I wished I had money earlier to actually take more classes even before now, because I would have had a lot of a broad knowledge about, not only knowledge, I would have a broad resources even concerning design. I would have tried a lot, right? So being faithful is actually something that is very, 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 very important. So you'll have learned even some other things with design majorly, and what could have deprived you is just a little amount, and in the future it would be worth nothing actually to you. It's something you can just spend at one sitting. So majorly, if you are actually ready to take this skill, you would have to make sure that you learn. It's not something that you are learning partially. Learn it majorly. Don't say it's a side hustle. Take it like it is a real class, even like the school that you are going to go. You prioritize your academics more, but just take it very, very serious. Plan it with your schedule if you are going to learn it. So that's one of the things that you have to know and you have to do, right? So if you don't do that, actually, you would get just a little from having to put it as a side hustle, or maybe when you have time, because you will not have so much. So I'll just say, for a lot of folks that has been in design even before now, that was actually the issue. It's because they did not give it much of their attention. So the little attention they gave was able to produce the little result that they were able to have. So that's actually that. And then another thing you have to do is to make sure that you want to learn up to professionality. You have to learn up to professionality. So this class that I'll be having would run for 1 month, and then it's going to be an intensive class. and then I'll be breaking down design from theory to the practical majorly, because there's still a little more to learn, because we are not going to be working with maybe too much of slides, because I think slides should end here, and maybe if there is need, we'll just do a little slide and then we'll do more practical. For sure I would really want anything that would be good for us. So if there is need for slide, for sure I would actually have to create slides. And maybe for the beginning part we are going to work with slide, but we are going to do a lot of practical. In fact, for sure we are going to work with slide, but we would have to work with practical. So it's going to run for 1 month. Note that we are going to have a session with my friend, the Crealyst, and the Catalyst Media. So he's actually also a renowned designer. He designs short designs majorly, so he can teach you. So I'm going to bring him in, for him to take you on sessions, and for you would have to learn a lot. You would learn a lot. In fact, a part of this class, part of the things you'll be learning in this class. Should I include it? Okay. You will be learning how to generate images on AI actually. FreePic has that AI tool. So you'll be learning. There will be Saturday designs with me actually. So you would have to get to see me work on real life projects. You would see me rolling. You would see me in my vulnerable mode, where you would get to see how I struggle with getting images, prompting AI. If it's that I will have to go online to search for the images, I would go online to search for them, and stuff like that, and like that. So you would see everything. You would see every single thing, every single part of it. So that's that about that. That is usually very, very, very demanding though. Sometimes you might have to learn about the design, about the kind of brand before you actually do about it, because it's actually a lot. You can actually collect jobs that you have never done before, so you have to learn concerning it. You have to learn about it. So progression exercises and assignments. So you are going to have exercises maybe every week. You are going to have exercises every week where you have to do and then get back. So majorly you have to create the time. So that's more reasons why I'm saying you have to create the time. So you do both exercises and assignments, and you have to create the time. So you cannot just come around and you just want to do it. So you would learn, and then you would get time to go and redo. So that's where you get better actually. So from a lot of persons that pay for people classes, just few are able to put that determination because they want to learn it. So if you are considering graphic design at all, you should actually dedicate your time also for it. Create a time also for it. So in your week, if there's an assignment, make sure that you create a time for the assignment. This one is not like school. I would say that this one is more serious than school, because we can see ourselves. Just like secondary school, you can see yourself. If you don't do the assignment, it's all on you. You are the one paying money and stuff like that. So that's that about that. The price, majorly, I think I've said everything you have to know concerning the master class. So it's an opportunity for you to learn everything I know. Yeah, for sure you are going to learn it. In fact, we are going to learn together also. We also have a community, and then from practice to practice in design to conceptualization, design creation with purpose, down to use of fonts, use of colors, use of text and effects, and how to find images. All of those things you will learn majorly in the class. You learn all of those things in the class. It's actually a lot. You have to make sure that you dedicate time for it for a month, intensive one. So to the price now, this is the price. So all of this cannot actually be free. So it's coming for a sum of 20k, but you have a discount for this week actually, and that discount is 10k. You all can actually pay 50% of the price, and then you will be added to the class. There will be no more registration like the first one again. You just have to be added to the class, and then you will enjoy your time. So majorly would be starting by November, so you have to just brace up for it. It will be starting by November, so you would have to plan your time and just plan everything just to make sure that you learn everything you have to learn in November. By December you began to make designs, and you are able to make Christmas designs. So majorly even after the class there's going to be up to 3 months of mentorship. Majorly it's going to be 3 months of mentorship where you are going to bring your work to me and I will correct it, and you make sure that it's corrected up to my taste. So I will make sure that it's corrected to the right extent, so that you can actually be approved, you can actually be good majorly. So that is that. So this night just make sure that you secure your master class. It's just 10k for now. So after this week goes off, to go back to 20k, then I would leave it out for everybody to determine. So thank you so much. I will send in the details. This is the details on that 708606067. Again, I repeat, 708606067. Kenzo will pay Elton Steven Obaloluwa, that's the name. So thank you, you all, thank you so much. Even though we do not have a live meeting where we can all interact, but at least I think it ended up well at this moment. It ended up well. So when you all listen to this recording, make sure that you give credence to it. And the model of the class was going to be videos. It's going to be recorded videos, because honestly I cannot push anybody. In fact, it's even what you paid for, so I cannot push anybody. So the recording of videos is going to start even before the day you guys are going to start, so you guys would just brace up to actually start your class. And if for sure there's going to be live class, and then just to make sure that you are ready for it, there's going to be live class. So Saturday design with me is there. There's going to be live class where we get to check our assessment. So I think that is all. So and then we would do general design, where you have to design generally, and then would see if folks wants to go into church designs. So we are going to maybe cover all of them so that you guys can. But we are going to start majorly with greeting flyers, and I'm not going to start with effects first though. I'm going to start with the basic ones so that you can get the principles straight first, in practical, before we now go on to the original stuff. So thank you so much. We have an assignment, so if you do this assignment, that's when I will know that you actually got to this point. So make sure that you reach out. So thank you so much. I'll be sending the recordings in. So thank you so much. So the assignment is that you pick one principle of design and then create a thank God it's Friday design. Thank God it's Friday design. So you know your font, you know your element, you also know the principles. Just choose one of the principles, just one, and then use it to create a design. You can choose hierarchy, you can choose contrast, you can choose your proportion, right? So you choose the one and you use it to probe it. You can see the designs. These are the first-hand designs that I used to teach you guys. For sure, I don't look at designs are not beautiful, I look at designs that are very beautiful and save them visually. And those are part of the things that helps. So pick one principle, create a flyer. You can go online, search for inspiration, then get an image. I'll send in the link of our free resources majorly. So I'll send it to the first-hand people that were serious about the class majorly, because there are folks that actually posted in their status. So I told them to hold on because there was a lot at that point to do. So now that it's ready, we'll send it to them first, and then you guys will get it. You have to make sure that you DM me before you get it. So that will make me know that you actually listen to this, listen to the class, right? Okay, so have a nice day or have a nice night, because when I was recording this night. Okay, so I hope it was interactive. I hope even my voice alone was able to interact you. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for the class. Bye.